And welcome to the Under the Bus podcast. I'm your host, Burge, and I'm here with Nelson, who is in Las Vegas right now for the Summer League. Nelson, how are you doing after the frickin' Korkmaz, this madness?
Look, man, I've been a four-con Korkmaz fan, and it's freaking great. Right now, it was insanity to just see him just drain threes. I was like, oh look, he's on a roll. That's two in a row. Oh, that's three. That's four. Oh, he missed one. Oh, that's cool. Oh, you're gonna attack. Oh, you're gonna drive. Or you're gonna get like foul shooting threes like 4 times. Like this is what I paid. Yeah. Apart from that, prospects. I didn't know. Like when I first looked at the schedule, I was like, how am I gonna make it through all this basketball without wanting to die?
Yeah.
But like it just went by game by game by game, and I was just hyped to go see the next prospect, and it was really great.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some of my favorite bloggers there, so that was always cool. But yeah, it was a great experience first day, and second day it's even more star-studded, and I'm definitely on a summer league high, like Clayton said before we started. It's definitely there, and I'm scared for the crash, but as soon as I wake up, it's back to see more basketball, so I'm excited.
Awesome. And also here with Clayton, who is eating his milk and cookies right now. Clayton, how are you?
I'm all right.
Awesome. I know you've been enjoying this heat. I know how much you love heat.
I've been in the AC most of the day, so y'all are in the heat, and that sucks. Bunch of losers.
Awesome, man. Thanks for that. And like everyone knows, if you didn't know, LeBron James is a Laker.
This is quite true.
Which is still, pretty insane. It's been a wild. What's it been now? Like only like 5 days, something like that. It's just it's been a wild 5 days after the initial signing. Of course, Lakers signed Lance Stevenson. They signed JaVale McGee. They re-signed KCP. Day after, it got a little. It dipped down a little. The Lakers ended up renouncing Julius Randle. They both mutually agreed on him being renounced. Unfortunately, the Lakers didn't want to give him any sort of long-term commitment. Julius wanted more of a long-term commitment. Didn't work out. I'm sad to see him go. He's going to be awesome over in New Orleans, over next to AD and Drew Holiday and them over there. So I wish him the best over there. And then pretty much right as that happened, Lakers ended up signing journeyman point guard veteran Rajon Rondo to a 1-year, $9 million deal, which kind of split Laker fans a lot. It's just a lot of sort of general fans like the name, like the move because Rajon Rondo, big name guy who has a reputation around the league for being a tenacious defender and a guy that people like. At least recently, but last couple of years, a guy that people like. So. Clayton, let's start with you. What was your initial reaction to the Julius Rondo 1-2 punch, and where are you at now? A couple days later.
Initially, I mean, kind of still it hurt seeing Julius go.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was a bad move, and I'm still not exactly happy with it. But after hearing that it was his wishes that he'd like to go. Because of like change of role and the Lakers' lack of wanting to, provide a long-term commitment and stuff like that, I understood it. Julius was like my second favorite Laker last year, and I along with Pete Zayas, at Laker Film Room, think he was the best Laker last year.
Yeah.
Which I think now leaves a big hole. Yes, obviously signed LeBron James. That's a massive upgrade. Like full stop. Obviously, that's a huge upgrade. That said, the Lakers now have a gaping hole at the 5 spot.
Yep.
And people are saying like Brook Lopez can get that, but that doesn't change like the small ball issue.
Yes.
So yeah, I was kind of, obviously still upset about that, but get your money. I think he was I thought he was going to make some more than he got, but you know, maybe with AD he'll get that bag next summer.
Mm-hmm.
Initially I thought like the Rondo and Julius deals were in tandem, but I guess you kind of got to really think about it in two different moves. You can't really think of it as like because it kind of looked almost like a trade.
Yeah.
You know, I think you kind of have to look at it as separate moves. And while I am not a big Rondo fan, and there's plenty of other possible moves that I would have preferred, especially using $9 million on.
Yeah.
Last year, we complained about Tyler freaking Ennis.
Yes.
As the backup point guard.
He's gonna look like it.
And yeah,
LeBron James to him.
Say what you want about Rondo. He is a massive upgrade on Tyler Ennis. At the beginning of the year, Rondo wasn't very good.
No.
But once Boogie went down, he stepped up, and in the playoffs, he outplayed Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. And not to say that's what he's going to do all year, but my point is like he's going to provide, you know, an actual impact. And if he plays like he does, like he did with the Pelicans and at the end with Chicago, that's kind of like 2 years in a row where he showed stints of pretty good play. You know,
yes.
If he can do that in, you know, limited minutes, then I think you're good. And, you know, my biggest concern obviously is a lot of people is with Rondo is the lack of shooting, but you know, the catch and shoot threes, I saw people saying he was up to, I believe, 36%. I saw someone say 34, and then I saw someone else say 36.
36 is the number I've seen most floating around.
Yeah. So if it's 36, that's good. I mean, catch and shoot, you want those usually to be in the 40%, but for Rondo, 36% is just fine.
Yeah.
You know, so like I'm totally fine with that, just as long as it stays that. Now, if it becomes him playing over Lonzo, that's an issue in several different respects. Like if he's getting that priority over Zoe, that's an issue.
Yeah.
If he's beating out Lonzo, that's a whole different issue entirely, and then that's an asset issue. And if you look at like the advanced numbers and everything, Lonzo is a lot better than Rondo.
Yeah.
But if he for some reason is outplayed by Rondo, then you're going to have to hide that and like trade him quick.
Yeah.
You know. And Rondo, to his credit, in the 3 or 4 interviews I think I've seen already, he sounds really good.
Yeah.
You know, and like I hope you take that to heart. And from what you've said and what we've all seen from like Chicago and this year, a couple people in New Orleans say that he is like a mentor. You know, like I don't know if we can really question that when several young players and other, you know, just younger players like Drew Holiday isn't especially young. He's 26 or 27 years old. But
that's crazy. He's only 27.
I know. if guys like that are saying that he was a good mentor, then I think that speaks volumes. You know,
not only that, guys like Boogie and AD loved him. You know?
Yeah, yeah. So while the process of it right in front of us looked bad, I think you have to separate it. So, you know, like I probably would have just rather had like Shabazz Napier just on a cheap 1-year deal to try it and then like try and get another wing.
Yeah.
I'm with the way that people are trying to explain it, while I don't necessarily agree, I can see the process, and I'm not going to freak out like I used to.
Right. Going off of what at Reed_NBA had a thread about Rondo a couple of days ago, and a couple of things that stood out from it for me. When when Boogie was playing, Rondo was a minus 2.8 net rating. When Boogie was not playing, he was a plus 4.9 net rating. He graded out as about a 68th percentile defender. Rondo on synergy. He's a really years. They haven't really had a consistently good pick and roll ball handler. We've tried Ingram at it. He wasn't great by the numbers. It's nice to see him succeed a little bit with it, but Rondo's a guy who was really good at pick and roll ball handling. So that's definitely a plus to have. He was playoff Rondo is definitely real.
Which is so it really is so weird.
It is. But it's definitely a real thing.
Yeah. And he got in the head of Dre, just saying, like, him and Dre go at it, and Dre gets in everyone else's head. But he cannot get in the head of Rondo, and Rondo got into his head, which is just all the lulls. All of them.
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest difference when you're looking at with Boogie and without Boogie is pace. Once Boogie went out, the Pelicans skyrocketed to first in the NBA in pace. And that's something that the Lakers have emphasized the past couple of years. Being top 10 in pace both years. They were number 3 this year. They're number 1 with Lonzo when he played. Rondo's the guy that's going to push the ball. And that's what the Lakers thrive at, when they're pushing the ball, especially when you have someone like LeBron now, especially when you have someone like Lonzo, someone like Kuzma, Josh Hart, people like that who thrive in transition. Pushing the ball is going to be great. It's going to be something that is going to be a simple transition when Lonzo isn't on the court and Rondo is, like when Rondo comes in off the bench. What you were saying about the interviews, a thing that I've heard that he really wants to do, he wants to be a coach when his career ends. And I think he's taking this time to get that sort of rep around the league and be able to say, hey, I was a mentor to this player, and look what happened with him, and all these guys love me, and he can become a coach in the future. I think he's focusing on that. Also, obviously he wants to win. He's a guy who, like you said, gets in the head of people. He's a guy in the playoffs that you want on your team because, again, playoff Rondo is a real thing. It's really weird, but it is. But I've warmed up a lot to the deal. I'm actually kind of excited to watch him play on the team, just to see how the whole dynamic works. There's also all the talking off court stuff, all the talking on court on defense. You've seen that video floating around of him talking to his team against the Warriors. That's been floating around ever since he got picked up by the Lakers. So I'm really excited to see what he does with these young guys, and I'm excited to see what just sort of what the offense looks like when he's on the court. Nelson, same thing with you. What was your initial reaction when the whole Rondo 1-2 punch happened, and how are you feeling now about it?
The first thought that ran into my head was, oh man, we need shooting,
right?
Because Rondo's not going to be able to shoot the ball, and I was like, oh man. And I have not been the biggest Julius Randle supporter, but he definitely was a good player last year.
Yeah.
I heard Zach Lowe's podcast with Brian Windhorst, and it seemed that they both came to the consensus that LeBron James wouldn't be a good fit with Julius Randle. And I know how we think of Julius, but he does have a tendency to really put his head down at times. And although he did it less last year, of just trying to score for himself, and I know he has the capabilities of being a jack of all his last season, and that's not what I'm here to doubt. But he did have, especially the latter portion of the season, he did have a tendency to do that, and he does it really well, right? And LeBron does enjoy dumping it off to someone and just giving them room to score. So I thought it wouldn't be that big of a fit issue per se, right? But yeah, it just seemed like, I don't know if I'm not gonna say LeBron didn't want Julius back, but if LeBron really wanted him back, the Lakers would have found a way to get him back. But it didn't seem like a priority, and the Lakers just value cap space so much. Yeah. And Julius wasn't willing to play ball, and if you're not willing to play ball, and Lakers within the cap space, and you just want to leave and you want to be able to do whatever you want, because although AD is going to demand the ball a good portion of the time, so Julius Randle in that offense is going to get a good amount of touches as well, more than he would with LeBron. Probably, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it turns out the opposite, right?
Yeah.
But the main point was he didn't want to be here, and I know Jamie on Twitter was saying, "Oh, you can just keep to renounce him." Julius, when everything's working well, he can be a really cool guy in the locker room. He is a trooper, but it just really seemed like he didn't want to be here. So there's really no point of forcing him to be here. The Lakers want to build a really strong culture. Say what you want about him, but I heard the Laker Film Room podcast finally, and I know that they were talking about Pete said that the Lakers are really interested in SOBs, and that's why they drafted Mo Wagner and Josh Hart and Kyle Kuzma, and that's why they're bringing in Randall and Lance and McGee. And say what you want, they are SOBs. Lance is an SOB, one of the biggest in the NBA.
Yeah.
Rondo as well. McGee a little bit less. He isn't like a complete joke of a basketball player. He's not. He takes it seriously, and he does try on the court. He just rep for that.
Yeah.
So, if Julius Randle didn't want to be there and the full effort, and he wasn't going to be an SOB, then he can be. But if he wasn't willing to be that for the Lakers next year, and on a 1-year deal, so Lakers can retain cap flexibility, he's a really valuable player. His loss is going to hurt. I'm not going to go over the details. Clayton already went over it well enough. Julius Randle improved as a player. He was a good basketball player, and he's going to be a loss for the roster. But I just feel like he didn't want to be here, and there wasn't anything that could possibly be negotiated to change that. So, that's not really the important issue. But with going back to Rondo, I think he's going to be fine. I think like we all said, like if Lonzo can't beat out Rondo, then Lonzo shouldn't be the anointed great point guard. I'm sorry. If you can't beat up Rondo at this stage of his career, then what are you doing? Mm-hmm. We all talking about like Rondo's just an average okay player, then Lonzo should be better than that. He's had 1 more year. He had a fake knee surgery that he's already recovered from. So he should be ready and ready to go. And the Lakers really do want to prove themselves to them. It sounds very Byron Scott-esque, but I mean it's true. Like if you can't beat out, if like Clayton said, there's no priority, and they're both put like, all right, here you two compete. You guys are completely. Your reputation does not matter at all.
Yeah,
you guys compete, and the best basketball player wins the starting job, and it's Rondo. Then what? Like what are we supposed to do? Like we can't argue that, Yeah. But if Lonzo starts and practicing better, like it's not that the world. But yeah, my main issue was like we need shooting so badly, and it's great to see Svi play so well in Sacramento. And Wagner be able to space the floor because we're going to need them and we're going to count on them, which is a little bit less optimistic for the future of next season because banking on rookies usually isn't the best bet all the time.
Real quick to piggyback off of what he said, Randall did want to be there, but Randall wanted a long-term commitment.
Yeah,
Randall I thought deserved it, but they wanted to keep their options open for obviously
Kawhi, Jimmy Butler, people like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, that's what I'm saying because I mean there was no alternative for the Lakers.
Yeah, no. I agree with that. I knew what you were saying. Fully understand it. And then the whole thing with Jamie keeping him. Yeah, could you technically keep him? Yes, you could have done that. But there's a couple problems with that. One, you keep him in there and he is not happy throughout the year. What happens if all of a sudden he starts acting up? No, I don't think he would start acting up. He seemed to soldier on through most of the year and everything like that. The thing with that is at the beginning of the year he did sulk.
Yeah,
he did. I mean, like, I totally understood it, but yeah, he sulked. Like, he did not look like himself. And then another thing that we talk about in like our big DMs, and a lot of time it's by our friend Jerry. Oh, I don't even want to mess up your last name.
The Armo Trader.
There you go. Kevorkian. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. I'm sorry if it's
every time you say it, I think of the murderer guy, Kevorkian.
Isn't it Kachokian? Isn't it Kachokian?
Oh yeah.
Kachokian,
Yeah, my bad. I believe so. But him and also at our boy Derek Parker at D Parks 24. They both have mentioned just how like Lakers will try and put you into a situation that is good, and honor you in different ways, Kobe, they gave a giant contract. They had a farewell season. They had like the retirement of 2 different jerseys, stuff like that. With D'Lo, they weren't, obviously the front office was not very fond of D'Lo. That said, even though they used him as a piece to dump a salary, they also sent him to a team where he is put into a position that he's going to succeed.
Yes.
Like if he doesn't succeed, that's on D'Lo.
Yes.
And,
or his injuries,
Or his injuries, yeah. With Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance. Clarkson, yeah, whatever. But they sent him and Nance to a team that just made the finals.
Yeah.
Now they use them obviously in order to clear cap space to get LeBron
and to arguably annoy LeBron.
Yeah, but they were also put into a position where they made the finals.
Yep.
And then with Randall, they could have kept him and kept him around for next year, had his bird rights and everything, but then they grant him his wish, of wanting to be put into a role where he believes he's going to succeed. He's going to join, another former Wildcat, Kentucky Wildcat, in Anthony Davis. He's likely going to start, especially now with Boogie not there.
Is Nico a free agent?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Regardless, I think he'd start over him.
I think he should start over him anyways. But it's into a situation where you could see him easily succeeding as well.
Yeah.
So yes, is asset management a question that I've personally had with them for a very long time? Yes, that is. Some of those moves could have been done differently. I thought the Cavs one was perfect.
Yep.
The D'Lo one, if they could have gotten, what was it, 21 or 22 instead of 27
or Dinwiddie.
Yeah. That would have been an even better one. Now that turned out to be obviously great because Brooke was excellent for us. This
Josh Hart
for us, and really can't look. I hate when people use Kuzma because they were going to pick him anyway. So really, it was just allowing them to get Josh Hart and Thomas Bryant.
RIP.
But they're all these moves. They're putting players in to succeed. Like they could have tried to dump D'Lo in Sacramento.
Yeah, they probably could have.
Yeah, I mean, they could have traded Larry Nance and Jordan Clarkson to go to Atlanta. Yeah. Yes. I mean, last year they could have traded Randall to any number of places.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Dallas one wouldn't have been that bad because he was back home. But I mean, him for Noel, or whatever it was that was rumored.
Yeah. Also to Indiana. Which who knows if he would have? I think he would have done really well there.
He would have been an awesome fit there, at least in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. But I guess that's just kind of my point. It sucks to see you've wasted 4 years of this guy, but you have alternate moves that you want to make and have available, but you still aren't screwing these guys out because they could have held on to Randall for a good long while.
Yep.
You know what? Okay, fine. But then there have been no money out there.
Yeah, and to go back to your point about the Lakers putting those players in the positions for them to succeed. Imagine the Lakers do pretty much force Randall to stay.
Mm-hmm.
and they don't grant his wishes to be renounced. How does that look to one agent? Even though I don't see Aaron Mintz ever working with the Lakers again.
Nope.
How does that look to agents? How does that look to the rest of the league? How does it look to free agents? To how they treat their players? And again, I was Randall was my favorite player on the team. I did not want him to leave, but it was a mutual agreement. Randall wanted to go. The Lakers agreed, and he got his wish. He's not a Laker anymore. He went over to a team that he's probably going to succeed. It just makes the Lakers look like a more just a franchise you want to be on.
Yep.
Just a front office that cares about their players, cares about what they want, and even if things don't work out, they want them to succeed to wherever their next venture. I think this is, and having the flexibility to go after a Jimmy Butler or a Kawhi Leonard, so on and so forth, the free agents next year, is important. And as much as I love Julius, Kawhi and Jimmy are much better players than him, you know? And it's just, I've come to terms with it with him. He didn't seem to really love the franchise because I've yet to see him thank the franchise for his 4 years with the team or whatever. I don't know. You can read in that all you want, but I haven't seen him do it yet. I've seen him say stuff to two different Pelicans players. It's just he didn't want to be here. Plain and simple with Julius. I don't know. He didn't have the best time with the franchise. He was moved around a lot, but the Lakers did grant him his wish, and he's with a team they wanted to be on. So the Rondo thing I'm fine with. The Julius thing I'm fine with. We still need one more big man. I still think Brooke is going to be a Laker next year. There's a bunch of other moving stuff you can add on to that. Maybe you get Luka Chardon-Bamute. Maybe you get Wayne Ellington. Maybe you get this next guy, so I can perfectly segue into this. The Oklahoma City Thunder have,
oh my word,
come to an agreement. Actually, did they
oh my gosh,
I put it on the list for a reason.
It was a great transition, but damn it, I hate you. I hate you so much.
What was the original Woj tweet again? Someone tell me, or Royce or whatever.
Royce Young just saying that the Oklahoma City Thunder have come to the conclusion that in order to save, $100 million on their luxury tax and everything, that they're going to either trade or stretch Carmelo Anthony.
Yes, there it is.
Which has just opened up the
floodgates. Yes. So the teams who were,
I'm not even going to say worms. It's opened up a giant floodgate of maggots.
So the teams who have been rumored to be interested in him, the one that we've been seeing actually the most, even more than the Lakers, I think has been the Rockets. At least in my opinion, I think it's been more the Rockets than anything. The Rockets are what Mark Stein said was the team that was interested in him. I think it makes sense why he'd want to go there because of Chris Paul. It also makes sense why he'd want to go to the Lakers because of LeBron James. There's also the Miami Heat because of Dwayne Wade, and I also heard the Wizards, which would be the greatest one of them all. It really
my word, their offseason would be the best worst.
Just give me
the biggest meme.
Man.
Just give me a lineup of Wall, Rivers, Melo, Keith Morris, and Dwight Howard. The attitude of that lineup.
Someone may die.
Someone might die.
And John Wall likely is going to prison if that's the case.
What he's gonna pull? He's gonna pull a Gilbert Arenas or Javaris Crittenton?
Yeah. Amen. Look, I'm just gonna say John Wall rolled up to Summer League with 16 guys behind him. I don't think it's gonna be him that goes to jail, but
yeah.
That would be a
someone would take the fall for him.
That's probably the least likely of the four I've listed, but it would be the most delicious of all of them.
Man. I would laugh so much.
I mean, like, not even a Wall would stop John Wall from
good one.
Oh my word.
So naturally, the Lakers are the first teams linked to him for obvious reasons. There was the whole thing back in 2014. Was it with Melo?
I think so.
Back in 2014 with the Lakers pursuing him. There is the LeBron connection. I get why it's being linked. Now, since then, there have been a lot of people that don't want him. A lot of people that don't want him on the Lakers for the reasons you might think. But there's been people who have been saying it won't be that bad if he accepts the role that we'd want him to. Now, looking back on last season, he did go into a lesser role. But he wasn't that good at it, first of all. Second of all, he came out in after the Thunder were eliminated the next day for their for what's it called again?
Their exit interviews.
Their exit interviews. And he said that he didn't like the role he was in. He thinks he could have helped the team more, and he's not going to come off the bench.
Yeah.
Those are the biggest reasons why that is the biggest reason why I don't want Carmelo on the team. Yeah,
dude is not a mentor. Dude won't do what the team needs him to do. Is not very effective.
Yeah, there's numbers that show. Yeah, he was a good spot up shooter last year. He was a good spot up shooter. He's been a good spot up 3-point shooter his whole career. The hope for him coming to the Thunder was that he turned to Olympic Melo, which he didn't. And yes, we desperately need shooting, but not that desperately, because there's other options out there. And I don't think the shooting situation is that bad. It's not great. It's not optimal, but it's not that bad. We have, I think we counted it up off air a couple days ago. We have 6 guys who can shoot over like 35%, right?
I think it was a couple more than that, but something like that. I mean, it just depends on if, like Shvi can be, the Shvi that we think, and if Wagner can be who everyone else thinks.
I don't think it's as dire as people are making it seem like.
It's not good. It's really not that good. But
it's not good. But
the thing is you're obviously relying on young kids taking big jumps, and while most of them I believe they will, it's still obviously a question.
Yeah, and I think shooting is the easiest thing to attain during the season, or with people left. Again, we keep bringing up Wayne Ellington. Wayne Ellington would really just shore up the shooting. Am I wrong? Because he's that good of a shooter.
Oh yeah,
he's a top 10 shooter in the league.
I think he was like the second best shooter this year.
He was 6th in the NBA, tied with Damian Lillard in 3-pointers made.
I thought he shot a lot better, but I mean, he still was 39.2%
on like 7 or 8 attempts per game, right?
Yeah, 7.5 attempts per game. Yeah. So in only 26 minutes, so he was letting it fly.
Oh yeah, he was shooting that thing. Yeah. Adding Brook back, who was a good shooter for Lakers last year, he just brings a defender over.
The problem is you only have room for one of those guys now.
One of those guys, yes. We'll
get into why there's only one in a little bit.
No, there's 2. No, sorry, that was with Dang. Yes, there is only one, but if you bring one of those two guys would make it a lot better, mm-hmm. And obviously it'd be optimal to get both somehow, or even Luc Richard Mbah-a-Moute, who was a good.
I think you need.
He was an okay shooter.
I think it's Brook that you need to get the most right now.
Yeah, Brook is the guy you need the most, for sure. And again, he brings that shooting punch. I just don't think it's as bad. I know Clayton. I know your opinion on it. I don't really need to go over to you to that. But Nelson, we haven't really heard from you today about the whole Melo thing. What's your opinion about the whole thing? Do you see any argument why you would be okay with him coming to the Lakers?
Oh man, I always liked Melo's game. It was hard to watch at times.
Yep.
He was just one of the best scorers in the NBA for a long time, and I've been really rooting for him to change. But
he hasn't.
But he hasn't, and he won't. I'm sorry. Like you can say how ideally he would if he was more optimized and put in a better role, but he has to be willing to be in that role. That's kind of the issue with that.
I mean, hold on. Just look at his tweets or his Instagram post this summer. What was the tweet? the suck my dick thing that he posted? You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
The one where he was drinking wine. Yeah.
Yes, that one. I think that by itself shows.
Yeah. Look, it's just that Melo doesn't care. He's trying to get that money, and
I don't blame him.
I don't at all.
Hmm.
And as well, that's nothing because I would have gotten because he would have gotten probably the veterans minimum.
I mean that's still Phil Jackson's fault, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when people bagging on him, like you really thought he was going to turn down $28 million for a single year. You really thought he wasn't going to take that money.
Yeah. No.
It's not on Melo.
That is on
Melo. That is on the Knicks, and that is on the Thunder for taking him on.
Yep. They knew what they were doing.
Yep. Yeah. You had to know that like there could be a downside to it. If you thought it was just going to be, like candy and, all types of just wonderful joy and milk and cookies it's like I had to push them away. Like if you thought it was just going to be that, then you were delusional.
Yeah.
Because there was always the risk of this.
Yeah.
Hashtag Olympic Melo.
Like
hoodie Melo.
Olympic Melo, like
that's one of the greatest basketball. Like
he's Olympic Melo might literally be the best international player ever. Like just when it comes time to Olympics, the dude is just on a different level. The crazy thing is it's night and day.
Oh yeah, I mean everyone remember the game against Nigeria where he put up he made like 10 threes. And the USA broke the shooting record. Like
it's just like it's unbelievable. And but that's not happening.
No,
it's just flat out not happening. That's not who Melo is.
Carmelo's
in the NBA. It's what?
Carmelo is 34 years old. He's not going to change his ways.
No, he's set. Like he's made his money. What he's done has worked for him into making his money, and that's all he cares about.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you've done something successfully, regardless of the analytics and everything, as you're viewed by your peers and everyone as successful, then that is, it's worked for you. Regardless of what Twitter says, like it's worked for him. Yes. Why on earth does everyone think he's just going to change all of a sudden? He's not. It doesn't matter if he's playing with LeBron. LeBron's not going to change him. LeBron couldn't change Dwayne Wade.
Granted, Dwayne Wade was still in his... Wait, hold on. Cavs Dwayne Wade?
Cavs Dwayne Wade.
Okay,
Cavs Dwayne Wade. Not Miami Dwayne
I was going to say, he was still a star.
No. Yeah, no, I mean, Cavs Dwayne Wade. Like, he couldn't fix Derrick Rose. Like...
I really thought that would work.
Like people really. Tibbs still thinks like that one's gonna work.
Who's gonna beat that team?
Oh man.
Yeah. We don't want him. I don't want him. Clayton doesn't want him. Nelson doesn't want him. I don't get it.
Now, like if you could guarantee me that he would go into that perfect role.
Like the non-Celtics Paul Pierce role. If you can give me that, sure.
If you could get him to accept a role like how Vince Carter has, throughout the last 8 years,
yeah,
like,
pretty much.
Like if you could guarantee me he's gonna do something like that, then yeah, that's an interesting signing. Problem is that's not going to happen.
Nope.
I just it's just not how he works, like it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, and like
this is the classic example of in soccer there are those players that for their country they're so good, but then when it comes to playing like on their club or like their regular team or whatever, they're just not good. And I mean it's just crazy because that's exactly what Melo is. He's a country over team player. Like honestly, like Olympic Melo is a real thing and it's really great. But then when he
it's
comes
like
on scene,
it's like playoff Rondo. It's
literally,
unbelievable.
it truly is. Like, how do you just flip that switch so easily and just flip it back to just being so not good?
Like let me put it this way. I hate Olympic basketball. It is one of the most boring things to watch to me, because like if the USA doesn't dominate, then everyone needs to just be fired. Like in the country, just everyone. Like in the in the government,
everyone
in USA basketball, everyone needs to go. I hate Olympic basketball, but damn it, I will watch Olympic Mellow. Like it's just ridiculous, because I mean, like you see, like, and it's just completely different from what you're used to, and
like he turns into Klay Thompson, like just like that, like
becomes like he becomes a great shooter. He becomes like a very solid defender, even at like older ages. Like, damn it, just whatever. It's just not. I'm done with this topic, because like it's just not going to happen. It's just not.
I'm not going to put it past the Lakers to sign him, to be honest.
Oh no, if they sign, it would not surprise me if he signed.
Yes,
but oh my word, if he signs,
that Melo won't happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, I really don't want to go any further on this, just because I think it's the arguments for it to happen aren't they're not like people. Like, there's the defense issue, of course. He's never been a good defender in his career. He just doesn't really try on that end. And there's people saying, like, oh, he was a better defender than Kuzma last year. Then that just gives us two bad defenders. I don't. It doesn't make sense to me. I much rather see him in Houston. I'd much rather see him in Washington. I've even seen the Nuggets flutter around there. Bring him back to the Nuggets. I don't care.
No, that's not happening. That relationship is dead. Once you lay on a court for back-to-back possessions,
he was hurt. He was legit hurt that one. You know that, right?
I don't think he was.
He didn't he? Like, he was out. I think for the rest of the game, wasn't he?
No, he just laid there because he was pissed.
I thought
I'm like 95% sure on that.
I remember thinking that. I remember thinking that he was just pissed, but then I thought I saw something that like he was actually hurt.
No, I'm like almost 100% positive he just did that because he was pouting. Because he soon after that was traded.
Oh, that was that year?
Yeah.
Because it was against the Thunder, and that was the OKC. That was the Russell Durant Harden Thunder as well. Anyway, let's move past Melo. Let's talk about some stars that we might actually like on the team. But first of all, let me just say this: do you guys see the Lakers making a move for another star before the season starts? Just both of you. Quick, Clayton. Yes or no?
Only one would be Kawhi.
Nelson. No.
Not even one.
Yeah, I don't. The only one I think would be Kawhi, and even then, I don't think that they do.
Okay. Look, the Lakers, they are in no rush to make a move.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
Look, this is what you do. You have to play this year out because you have to see how the young players respond to having LeBron James on their team.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, stock, and if he does, then that's great. And if he doesn't, then oh well. But you have to take this chance because developing young assets, guess what? That's the path.
Yeah.
And if the young Lakers show like the is in their development that I expect and that most of us expect, then you're gonna trade away that for a star. I get it. There's a chance the Lonzo shot doesn't develop, and if it doesn't, then you're stuck with a good. And if Brandon Ingram, if his frame still becomes wonky and he still doesn't know how to use his length fully, and his shooting becomes streaky still, that's an issue right there.
Right.
And it really develops on the defensive end, which is probably likely at this point. That's an issue. If Hart just is, then that's an issue. But LeBron James, we forget he makes all of his teammates better.
Yes.
Although he has aged, and although people do talk about like surrounding him with certain players, with the mindset that LeBron has reached a point in his career now where be that player, and the young assets are not so far behind that they need to be carried so much or developed so much. So by making a trade, I feel like it'd be a pretty big mistake. And as much as I love Kawhi, and the idea of LeBron and Kawhi is amazing to me. The Spurs are losing value by the second, and I'd be willing to give up Kuzma, but that is on that.
And even then, I'm hesitant. You know,
right? It's just that look, LeBron James still makes his teammates better. This Cavs team, he dragged them, sure, but he made them better.
Yep.
He created shots where shots should not have been created for them. Say what you want about him, they missed them. They missed.
Yep.
That's why he had to carry them.
Yes.
And the Lakers, if they make their shots, well, guess what? They're going to become an incredible team. If Ingram shows an increased boot stroke, if Kuzma continues knocking down shots, all they need to do is focus on their defensive game and the defensive aspects. And Lonzo, if he just improves his clip and that him knocking down 30-pointers, if that is truly there, then we're talking about a team that by the last year of LeBron's contract, without even getting another guy, they're already going to be a contender by then.
Yeah,
judging by this developmental curve. But I do think Kawhi really wants to go to the Lakers, and he won't be overshadowed by LeBron. And if there's a guy that I think LeBron, and it's all about getting that first guy in the door. And I feel that the Spurs are scared of that.
Yeah.
And that's why the whole Clippers thing came out.
Yes. That's another thing. The whole Clippers thing is a whole sham to me, pun intended. I think it's hilarious, the Knicks stuff or the New York stuff. I mean, I think that stuff is hilarious. That they hit him, which is I don't know. Like this, the idea of that and the memes and the GIFs are awesome. But I don't see them moving for a star before the season starts. I'd also argue that the older LeBron gets, the better he's going to be at setting up his teammates. I think that LeBron's a guy who, once he gets older, he's going to be a guy who's going to be a lot better at finding players. Like,
look, it's just that LeBron, his gravity's not going to go until it becomes adamantly clear that he's just not the same player that he was. And Pete Zayas was having a discussion about like what's LeBron going to be in his third year of the contract, how he's still probably going to be a top 10 player. A top 10 player has incredible gravity.
Not only a top 10 player, a top 10 player at 37, 38. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. And if I was going to make a bet on someone being good while they're healthy, it's 100% be LeBron James.
Yes.
And I just feel that, like, in LeBron's career, he plays so much of a load that playing off ball is not going to be outrageous because Lonzo can create some. He's not a primary initiator, right, Clayton?
Right.
Yeah. So, but Ingram to getting there. Honestly, his playmaking, although he wasn't the best backup point guard or starting point guard, this is what I love about having such a young team that you can just mix and match and play them at different positions.
Yeah.
That they can just characteristics. And Ingram's playmaking is feel really much, but it really matured, and you really showed that progression because you forced the ball upon his hands, you forced him to make decisions, you forced him to create offense, and that was something he had. And he's ready to really blossom in this third year if he really maybe adds a little bit to his if he really harnesses his length, because his length is such a big tool that you have constant talk about how like he doesn't use his length, like he doesn't, right? And I mean that once he does figure that out, that he's gonna be he can be at least a super high 2, right?
Yeah.
Team. That's like at least he can. I think he can be a 1, and his defense isn't there off ball. He's just not. He's just like not a like a decent defender, right? Like
right now, I agree.
Inconsistent. Yeah. But like this third year, I expect so much out of Ingram, and I know he hasn't put it all together, but I'd bet Kawhi Leonard that he does.
Yeah, I think the third year is famously the jump year for young guys. That's normally when guys take their biggest jump from just like a young guy to showing that they're an actual legit future all-star, you know. And I think Ingram is going to show that this year. I don't think this team, even if the team is like a top 3 in the West, and I don't think they'll have a second all-star, but I think the 3 young guys or four young guys, if you include Hart, are really going to thrive underneath LeBron, and moving them would just be a disservice to the future of the team, what the team could be. And even if you don't get Kawhi, Jimmy Butler seems to be a legit possibility, especially with all the stuff we're hearing around.
I think I think a lot of that is a ploy, because I saw some Timberwolves fans say that if he were to agree to the extension now, it would have been something like 4 years, $110 million, which is just
the extension.
It's really weird.
Sense.
But then like next year, if you were to sign with the Bulls for 5 years or whatever, it'd be 190. Or sorry, the Wolves.
Same difference.
Yeah, it'd be 190.
Yeah.
So like that's an $80 million jump by waiting a summer.
Yeah.
So like I don't put a lot of.
I think if they're a 6 to 8 seed again next year, then there's a legit shot he's gone.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't see any progression from the team, then why is he going to stay?
Yeah.
And LA's always been a city that he's wanted to go to. I remember when he was a restricted free agent, he said he wanted to go to the Lakers, and he's.
I mean, that's also always a ploy, but I mean, he's a big city guy. He's friends with actors. He wants to act. Kind of like the Shaq thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in the day where Shaq wanted a bigger, face.
And I fully believe in the power of Magic Johnson when he wants a guy. Like I'm fully buying it now at this point.
Yeah,
that guy is a closer, and if that guy gets into a room with a guy that he wants, I think he's gonna be a Laker. Which
still just makes me laugh that we didn't even get a meeting with that certain guy.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna say. Everyone knows who it is, but I don't really care about him anymore. But
exactly.
Yeah, and to go with real quick off of Nelson before we move on to the next part, like you shouldn't trade the farm.
No, especially when you have boatloads of leverage right now.
Yeah, like right now the Spurs have no leverage. Tony Parker just left. Kyle Anderson just signed a offer sheet with the Memphis Grizzlies. Like Manu Ginobili is going to be back for what, a year?
He's
like
within the next 2 years.
Yeah, like their team is right now LaMarcus Aldridge and DeJounte Murray and Danny Green.
And Lonnie Walker.
Well, and Lonnie Walker and Derek White. But like I'm just saying, like they're right now in a position where they kind of just have to go through a rebuild.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
And he hasn't come out and said it. Like agents have said, or like his uncle essentially has
Uncle Dennis
has said it. But like he wants out, and Michelle Beadle can have her way, and then I'm gonna give you Jack. I'm not gonna give you Jack,
Here, take Ivica Zubac.
Take Ivica Zubac, a first-round draft pick, and Luol Deng.
There we go. That sounds like a fair deal to me.
Yeah. Like I mean, literally at this point,
I don't also take Clipper Daryl.
Daryl. No, he's back to the Clippers again now. By the way.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I mean, what else is what leverage? Like they've tried to use Boston.
They've tried.
Boston has balked at that. They've tried to use Philly. Like they're not even including Fultz. And like we're three of Fultz's biggest fans, especially on Lakers Twitter. But like he had the yips. Like he didn't know how to shoot.
Yep.
Like that's kind of important. Like that's a very big part of basketball, knowing how to shoot. And he just totally forgot how to do it. And they're not even including him.
Yeah.
Yes, like I mean, like I don't think like you should just give up, top prospects like that. But like, why should we include Brandon Ingram then?
Yeah.
If you're not even going to get Markelle Fultz,
the best prospect they're going to get from those two teams is someone as good as Kyle Kuzma, maybe even worse than Kyle Kuzma.
Like
I think Kuzma is maybe not right now, but I think he has the potential to be better than Covington or more impactful than Covington. I think he's better than Dario, in my opinion.
Definitely agree with that.
And I mean, who
are
the Celtics going to give up? Terry Rozier?
And they already said they're not going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. They're top 5 players.
They're not going to give up one of their top 5 players, which one of their top 5 players isn't Rozier. So you could say like top 6 players.
They're not giving up Tatum, Horford, Kyrie, Jaylen Brown. It might be Rozier 5th.
Yeah, I mean, no, Hayward.
Okay, I completely forgot about Hayward. Oh my God.
So like, they're not giving up their any of their top 6 players. So like their package, supposedly someone said, I think it was today, a 1st-round draft pick in Kyrie, but like there didn't seem to be actually any substance to that.
1st-round draft pick, which one? The Kings one? I'm assuming.
I don't know.
It'd have to be the Kings one.
It wasn't specified.
I mean, honestly, I wonder how willing Ainge is willing to move that Kings pick. That's a top 3 pick next year.
Yeah. Especially after who they took at number 2.
They might just build their army of wings and add Sorry Nelson, RJ Barrett.
No,
sorry, I apologize, Nelson. I know that's your guy, but he was the first guy that came to mind.
That one hurt.
So like I mean, then I guess the Shams brought up the Clippers because he doesn't want to be in LeBron's spotlight or blah blah blah. Like if you, I mean, like then
and then Woj came out immediately and said he wants to be a Laker. He's pushing to be a Laker.
Yeah, exactly. So who even with the Clippers trade? Jerome Robinson and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm demanding those 2, and then you probably you
want Tobias Harris. You want next year's first.
You probably need Tobias just for salary.
Yep. And and that's probably your best player and your 2 lottery picks gone like that. So it's just gonna be Kawhi and Patrick Beverly.
Williams. Well, and they might not need to include Tobias. I would have to look at their cap.
Maybe
with DeAndre gone and Blake gone and everything, they probably have quite a bit of money. Yeah, because I mean they still have Gallo. They gave Lou an extension, but like most of it's
they
pretty.
Signed Anthony Tolliver. I know that. That's like a free agent I can think of. They signed. I think Tolliver was the only guy.
But like, I mean, if that's your threat, then go ahead.
Yeah.
Because like, if Kawhi was wanting to stay, there with a team that just lost out on big time talent and all that, then
he's kind of done with Paul George. Then, to be honest,
yeah, with a questionable decision making, and like, I think he's obviously better than that.
Yeah.
But I forgot they got Gortat.
Yeah, he's part of that cap dump.
So Danielo's at like 20.5. Tobias is at 16. Marcin Gortat is at 12. Bradley did just resign. I think at something was.
Bradley resigned. It was 2 and 20, I believe.
Yeah, so
2 and 22, something like that.
You're looking at like 10, 11. Boban at 7. Lou at 7. Milos, they're gonna waive, I believe. But that's still like what? Excuse me, like
not a lot of money left.
I think it's like $3 million, and then you still have Wes and Brev, and I mean, like you've got quite a bit of money right there still.
Yeah, and again, assets, you just don't want to include those guys, especially when you're building a team, and especially when you have a team with LeBron. You want depth on that team. If we trade those guys, we have no depth after those two, and I want to hold on to those guys so LeBron can have the most help he can. And if you can not get rid of those guys and then get a star in free agency, then your team is a near contender, And that's the whole point of everything. And speaking of assets, let's move on to the next thing.
They're at the Clippers right now are at $100 million guaranteed.
That's a lot of money.
That's with Milos, Pat Bev, CJ will I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
They can't even they'd have to include lots of players that I don't see the Spurs wanting to really take on unless they just want expirings.
Right. Anyway, moving on. The Lakers today officially traded for Isaac Bonga with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Holy crap, I didn't realize that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah, I heard that's how they pronounced it on when he got drafted. And then I watched some of his film and I heard Isaac Bonga a bunch of times. So that's what it actually is, apparently. I
don't know if I should improve his draft stock or downgrade it.
Isaac Bonga, 39th pick is what he was. Lakers also signed him today, which surprised quite a few people.
Yeah, me included.
I am on the side that I'm glad he got signed officially because I just want him with strength and conditioning guys. I want him with NBA diet. I just want him practicing with the team or with the G League team. I think that's very important for his development in the future. So getting him on the actual roster was a big thing for me. And I also heard that was the reason why he fell so far. It's because he wanted to come over immediately.
You know who that sounds exactly like?
Who?
Ivica.
It did sound like Ivica.
2 years ago.
Yep.
Ivica wanted to come over right away. He did not want to wait.
Yep. And that's why he fell so far.
Yeah, he went from being a near
top 20
pick to going to the Lakers. And apparently he's kicking butt with Croatia or whatever.
Croatia, yep.
If he comes back and he looks good, then that hit of losing Thomas Bryant isn't as big.
Yeah, exactly.
And at this point, really, I think that they should be pretty much trusted with a lot of things.
Yeah. So tomorrow, or I guess today, whenever you guys are listening to this, the Lakers will be playing the Sixers in Summer League. Isaac Bonga will be on the roster and active. So let's start off with this. Nelson, what are you most looking forward to see from Isaac tomorrow and for the rest of the Summer League?
Ben Rosales was not happy about the signing, just because of what it meant for retaining Brook and how more tricky that becomes. But I personally,
according to real quick, according to
Reed, I think
Pincus
or Reed, one of those two said something.
Pincus says it doesn't have any bearing on it.
Yeah, it's still 5.5 mil we have left.
Yeah, so Ben saw that too, and he was like, "Oh, nope, whatever." And then,
I didn't mean to speak for Ben because I saw the tweets and then I was watching Summer League and I didn't check back right after. I was gonna say I personally like the Flyer. It's funny how teams just hate when players come over. I get that roster spots are so valuable, but I mean end of the bench guy versus a Flyer. I guess there is a point where reward is where the present is better than the possible risk.
Yeah.
But regardless, I want to see the playmaking. This Lakers team. Say what you want about Rondo and Lance, but when they have to create some.
Yeah.
It may not be ideal and it may be a bit poundy at times. But they can create that kind of offense. And That's why they were signed. That's why Windhorst said it, and Windhorst is pretty much LeBron at this point. So they were signed as creators, and if Bonga can even flash a little bit of that, I'll be really excited.
Mm-hmm.
He has the length, the tools, not the frame, but as far as it being filled out.
Yeah.
But making and I want to see how the shots come along so far.
Yep.
Those are the main two things that I want to see.
Right.
Anything else is gravy. I'm gonna take it very slow with him. I think he has just a ton of upside. One of the youngest players in the draft. That speaks a lot to me. I coming into the draft. He fell for inconsistent playing time and things like that.
Yeah.
Coming to summer league, he was one of the main reasons why I still wanted to come watch the Lakers. Because he's such an interesting Svi lighting it up. I feel like Bonga has to play with here. I really hope he gets some real run. Was an unsigned guy, but we've seen the Lakers kind of play a lot of the flyer guys too much. Like I'd be playing Malik Pope tons of minutes.
Please get rid of Jonathan Williams. Thank you.
No, my word.
Yeah. It's not good, man. And I just feel like these guys have these unique tools. I just play them. If there's anything there, because eventually that's what we want to see. You just want to see some skill ooze out of them.
Yes.
And with those tools, then you take that flyer. So I hope that's what they do with Bonga. I don't know when was the last time he played or how he's been with that whole scheduling thing. So I don't know how much energy, how he's going to be energy wise, or how he's going to be acclimated. I don't know how many practices he's missed. He has a practice with the team yet, right?
I think today he did today. Or actually, no, because he was on his way over today.
Right. Okay.
So tomorrow will be his first actual practice. So it'll be a lot of just him just like running around. Probably.
Yeah, and so
which is, I mean, Simon doesn't really have a very complex system in place. It's really just pick and roll Caruso the whole time. So I mean, I think they'll be able to pick it up pretty easily.
Yeah, but still, just because of that, it's kind of devastating a bit. But I understand it in the grand scheme of things. So I'm very excited to see Isaac Bonga. Like I said, just oozes upside, and he's far away from putting that together. But the baseline is very intriguing, very intriguing.
Yeah, I see the main two guys I see when I watch him are Sean Livingston and a sped up slow-mo, Kyle Anderson. And if he becomes one of those two guys, that's perfect. That's what you want from a 39th pick,
That is gold at 39.
Yeah, 100%. Those are two players who are in your rotation in the playoffs. 100%.
Yeah, from watching the tape that I have watched, with those scouting reports that never came out, that I made like 30 gifts and I just deleted them all because
you can still we officially got him today, so we can still get that,
that'd have been good before I deleted all 30 gifts. Yeah, because I was like, oh, it's too late now. It's like 2 weeks later, and I still haven't even started writing a word yet. So, but
hopefully he has a good game, and he can do.
Yeah, going through the tape, he makes some really high level reads, man. Really high level reads. Not consistently, he still has his boneheaded mistakes, but he just flashes tons of potential on that aspect.
Yeah,
he knows how to play basketball. His shot, it's.
I was worried about that one.
But the wingspan me likey, and the height me likey, and playmaking me likey. So
all right,
that's kind of something that's always good to start off with. And shooting can improve, and shooting mechanics from what I saw, they're not too far behind, but it's still not the smoothest shot in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
So
slow process of it.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think the thing that actually intrigued me the most, at least today, while looking a little bit more into him again, there was a picture of him during the pre-draft workout he had with the Lakers, and he was a good couple inches, 2 or 3 inches taller than Magic. Which Magic wasn't 6'9", even though he was listed as 6'9". Clayton loves to bring that up when we talk about Magic. Nice. He was probably 6'8", maybe 6'7". But I think Bonga is a legit 6'9", 6'10".
Nice.
Give me all the guys that are 6'9", 6'10", with 7+ foot wingspans.
Yeah,
Nice.
that is Clayton's, and he has skill, so that hits all three.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me anything with a 6 and a 9. That's all I need.
All right, Nelson.
Nice.
Clayton. Same question to you. What do you want to see from Bonga the most, and what are you expecting from him tomorrow?
I'm not expecting hardly anything from him tomorrow.
I want to say that as well. I'm not expecting anything at all.
Yeah,
which is sad.
He's the second youngest guy in the draft, I believe.
Who was the first? It was Jaren Jackson, right? Or was it? No, it was Simons. Simons was the youngest, wasn't he? No. Who was the youngest?
It might have been. I can't remember. But
Simons just turned 19 when he was.
Yeah, like a couple days after his Lakers workout. So
Yeah.
like Bonga doesn't turn 19 until I think November.
Yeah, right. I think
I'd have to look it up, but honestly, I think I said it before, and I'm lazy. So the shot I question. He didn't shoot particularly well. It was like 34%, I believe, from 3, which is a question. But like, this is a guy who, after last year's draft, he was a top 10 projected pick on Draft Express. Like, I believe he was like 8 or 9. Like,
if not top 10, he was definitely lottery.
Yeah, at the very least, the kid was a lottery pick, and he fell to 39. Like, there's reasons for that. He is more raw than I think they even really realized. His athleticism hasn't quite taken off because he's also pretty thin. But he does have skills. Like, also, part of being raw, he has a high turnover rate, but he's a 6'9" point guard, man. Like, they literally played him as a 6'9" point guard. They didn't play him as like a power forward. They played him as the point guard.
It wasn't like Giannis, and it wasn't like LeBron. It wasn't like Ben Simmons. Like, he was the legit point guard.
Yeah, exactly. So like, that was the one pick that I was like, oh, okay,
yeah,
that's interesting. With Shvi being like, oh, I like that one, and then with everyone knows my opinion on Wagner.
We'll talk about him in a second.
I mean, like,
we'll talk about him in a second.
But like 6'9". I mean, someone like that hair. I just don't know about that one, dude. But like, the scouting department has been very high on.
Yeah, they locked him down
on guys. Yeah, he had one workout, and the only workout he had was with the Lakers, and they made a promise that we're taking you, and they were worried that he could have been taken before 47. So then they gave up that essentially fake first next year with Chicago in order to get him. So like, we were kind of like, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense because he was probably a drafting stash. Well, he's not a drafting stash. They're bringing him over. They want to get their own developmental guys with him now, instead of hoping Germany helps out with that. Like, no, they're
in Europe, they don't want them lifting weights. Like,
like, the kid needs to lift weights.
Yeah.
Like, he's typical 18-year-old,
he also flashes a lot of hair potential. He's flashing it. He's teasing us.
I mean, he does look like he's 38 instead of 18, but it's fine. I really liked the pick.
Yeah,
I do think it's kind of interesting that they're bringing him over. I don't really have a problem with it, especially with how it's done. They'll be able to still give Brooke the $5 million, which is just crucial in my opinion.
We need him bad.
I doubt we see him hardly at all this year.
He'll be purely G League.
Yeah, and if he starts developing, which I think he will, then I think we could see him towards the end of the year before playoffs and stuff like that.
Hopefully, if we're not clinched by then.
Yeah.
Or if we are clinched by then, I should say.
He honestly might be develops as I hope,
Yeah.
he could be getting some decent important minutes.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think he's obviously a playoff guy yet, but
No.
That's. I also have to try and get myself out of that. Like, we have freaking LeBron.
Yeah.
we're like, our timetable is different. So, but at the same time, like, kind of to go back, take a step back, like,
we have freaking LeBron.
we have LeBron, and everyone's like, well, LeBron wants a star. Like, they took a freaking 18-year-old man and they brought him over.
LeBron signed 4 years. I mean,
like, yes, like, think of this. Think of this. Like, all the Cleveland people, all NBA Twitter is like, no, he wants another all-star. Don't listen to what he's actually saying. No. Don't actually listen to what he's saying, because like, he's lying, or like, no, they drafted, from what it sounds like, he knew about 10 days before free agency started.
Yeah, the Lakers 100% drafted these guys with LeBron in mind, like, without a doubt.
Yeah, and like, Shvee makes sense with LeBron because he can shoot the lights off. Like, it just drops buckets.
Yes.
Like, Wagner is that stretch big, the Channing Frye, the Chris Bosh, Kevin Love, like, he's that stretch big. And then
shout out to Danielle Marshall as well.
Yeah, like like, this was a pure upside pick, and like, they didn't bother to draft and stash him. They think that he's going to be so good that, like, they brought him over now.
I would love to see where they had him on his board, honestly.
Oh, I would too. But like, they brought him over now. They think like he's going to be able to develop and everything and help sooner rather than later.
Yes.
So like, when people are like, oh no, when people are like, I wouldn't be surprised if they give up Hart, Kuzma, and Ingram for Kawhi. It's not happening.
No, it's not,
because like, we've seen how many reports from them saying like, Ingram's not even on the table.
Nope.
Like, Kuz might not even be on the table. Like that just shows like Magic is there to get the star, and Pelinka is there to build the contender for years to come. And that's what they're doing.
Yes.
Like, they got the superstar. They got him to commit for 3+1, essentially 4 years.
We got LeBron.
You got LeBron James to agree to the longest contract that he has had in the last 4 years.
Yep.
And he is fine playing with the kids. He's reportedly likes Lonzo.
He thinks
that he can't wait to play with Lonzo. He thinks Ingram is close to our all-star level.
Uh-huh.
And I heard that he was also very high on Kuzma. I don't remember if there was a quote about him on that one. But like, this isn't Kobe with Bynum.
Nope.
Like, this is Jason Kidd that we're talking about, Like, this isn't the like. Think about it. Like, the deals that they've signed with Lance. Say what you want about him, and I've said my spiel about him on the podcast. That.
Yep.
Like, they gave him too much money. He's not very good.
They probably could have got like Wayne until
they probably could have gone other options, but that's a LeBron signing. Whatever. It's a playmaking signing. They got Rondo for 1 year. Mm-hmm. They got KCP for 1 year. They got JaVale for 1 year. They're keeping the space open, but they're also keeping the young kids. If I think you could have gotten, if they were so worried about getting Kawhi, I think Kawhi would already be a purple yellow. I think they would have already just dumped guys.
Something to add to like the guys they did sign. You put a different name on those guys who have the same exact skills, no one bats an eye. It's the names of the guy. It's because it's Rondo, it's because it's Lance, it's because it's JaVale McGee. That's why people are bagging on them.
Yeah, like, JaVale is a totally fine player.
If you change JaVale from to Nerlens Noel, no one cares.
No one probably cares.
You change Rondo to Elfrid Payton, or I don't know, who would be a guy like Rondo?
Elfrid Payton.
Elfrid Payton,
totally fine. They would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
like
change Lance to Tyreek Evans, or
that's a huge upgrade.
Yeah,
but you know, like there you have a plan. Do I necessarily
Lance to like Gerald Green or something?
Yeah. Do I necessarily agree with a plan? No. Like I still think there needs to be shooting and everything, but there was also like on the Lakers and with the Cavs, there was a huge issue with being able to create offense. And you got LeBron, who's his own like offensive machine, but then you got Rondo, who can create. He's not the elite creator some people like to think. Shout out to our boy Drew, because you have to be able to also create for yourself. But like he's a solid creator and runner of an offense.
Yeah, again, like I said, he was excellent in pick and roll last year.
Yeah, like Lance, say what you want about him. He can pound the ball, you know, the air out of the ball, and as Rondo can do the same thing. But like
here's the perfect Lance, like what Kevin Pritchard said today. He said he was either the best player on the court or he was the best player for the other team.
Yes, exactly. And like if Lance might not even see like rotation minutes,
and we'll talk about why in the next thing, but
but like. I know this all started on Bonga, but like you're just there, you see what they're doing. Bonga fits the mold of a playmaking guy who is 6'9" with at least a 7-foot wingspan,
high IQ.
Yeah, he had issues with like turnovers and stuff like that, but like he's bloody 18 years old playing playing point guard. So yeah, I'm very happy with what is happening, and I think that if it wasn't for the fact that it's the Lakers and they just signed LeBron, no one would bat an eye at some of these things. Like my only real issue with everything was Lance for on court and off court. But like, do I think just like money and blah blah blah? But like, it's if some of these signings were, if like Golden State makes these moves, oh my word, everyone's just like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
They're gonna change them, obviously.
That makes sense. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Nelson, do you have anything to add to Clayton's spiel right there?
Oh no, Clayton covered it all. I wish I could, but Clayton talked so long that all my points.
Let's move on to the summer league. Let's get with the known guys off first, just off the 3 Sacramento summer league games, and we'll definitely talk about some of these guys after the Las Vegas summer league. But from the 3 games and from what you guys have seen, let's start with the known guys. Josh Hart. Nelson, we'll start with you. Did you see any notable improvements from Josh? Anything that you're happy to see? Already looked the same, or what do you think of Josh in the game and a half he played?
I like that he played the point. I thought that was pretty, at least in my eyes, it was pretty cool to see him in that role and to see him step out and just like take that role. And was some pretty good pick and rolls, show some pretty good handle moves and attacking the rim. And again, these are probably not NBA bigs, although he did do a pretty good one on Marvin Bagley, but he's not an NBA level defender yet. Like it wasn't, like he's not going to be a primary initiator, but he did show some improvements in running pick and roll. They weren't always the smoothest, and maybe he missed some reads here and there. But he just showed development in that aspect, and that's kind of important for a role player like him.
Definitely agree.
Svi, Svi. So.
Oh no! Hey! I was gonna play right player.
I'm sorry. He was so good.
All right, Clayton. Same question about Jay Hart.
I didn't get to watch as much as I'd like to of that Sacramento Summer League because of stuff that happened at home. But from what I saw, Jay Hart had moments of good and bad with his handles. He's obviously better in like a 3-and-D role, but he continued to shoot well. I think he was 4 of 9
Yeah.
In that game and a half that he played, which is 4 of 9. That's really good. I mean, small sample size in all, but like he shot well. He even had one where the guy was like right in his face. He just
that was a pull up one off the dribble.
Yeah, yep. Like just dribbled, like took a half step back, not like a full, step back, but just gathered himself and pull up right then and there and knocked it in the dude's grill. So, just being able to do more than what he was able to last year. Like I'm confident he's going to shoot well. I'm confident that he's going to be able to defend well.
Speaking of defense,
despite what a lot of analytics say, and that's not to like bag on analytics. I think that a lot of times context needs to be taken into account, and like a guy like Marvin Bagley, who's
giant,
quite a bit bigger than Josh Hart,
and a bit more athletic.
Yeah,
that's not a hot take.
Could not move Josh Hart.
No,
because his base is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I half expected Nelson to pull like it's all about that base or something like that with that. I fully expected that.
Nelson, weren't you tweeting from the UTB account when that happened? I'm surprised you didn't do that too, because you were tweeting out some puns during that.
I was. It's just yeah, no, I was just I was too busy. Honestly, guys.
We'll talk about speed.
No, hold on. I just know it wasn't even speed. It was just I was the hair, Sacramento's hair.
Oh man.
It was really impressive. I forgot how many good hair players they had. Even Justin Jackson's doing a little something, and I got to meet Justin Jackson, and that was kind of cool. Even though I'm not a big UNC fan, I'll give him props for his hairstyle.
You said that, really? Hey, nice hair, man.
What else was I supposed to say? Like
I don't know. Hey, good game. Or...
No, like he had ice on his knees or whatever, and I said, "Oh yeah, man, nice hair. Keep it up."
That's such a Nelson thing to have.
Hey, he jacked me up, and then he was like for sure. So
well, with Josh Hart's defense, I did see something. I don't remember who tweeted it out. I believe it was Tim at Cranston Basketball, and he said that he was he defended. They were 4 for 14 against him. That is pretty good defense, if I do say so myself.
During summer league.
During summer league, yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, and also summer league, but that's also always good to see.
Yes. Moving on, let's talk about another known Alex Caruso. Clayton, did you get to see any of Caruso?
Once Caruso came in, I had to deal with a big situation at my house. So.
Nelson Caruso. I mostly thought he was kind of lackadaisical in 2 games.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, I didn't get to see a huge sample. I only got to see bits and pieces of the game, but from what I saw from Caruso, he pretty much didn't really develop, but he was pretty much the same as he was last year. And that's kind of all I was hoping for. I was hoping for very little regression, and just continue to show that he has taken leaps and bounds, and or not taking leaps and bounds, but that he's managed to consistently play at the level they played last year, and the player that he was last, a pretty good third guard.
Yeah,
the team.
Really, all we need to see from him is just aggressiveness, because we saw what he did in the G League consistently. Yeah, he went for it, and that's all he needs to do when he plays in the NBA is just be aggressive. Honestly, I mean, and he's a legit good defender too. Like NBA sample size, he was a good defender. There was some stat that had him as like one of the best at something. I forget what it was. Do you remember what it was, Clayton?
No, I can't honestly.
It might have been DRPM or something like that. Or...
Yeah, I mean, like, when HP basketball last year talked about how good of a defender Vicini, I remember back that tweet up with like in less than a minute.
Everyone loves the Caruso squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
He's legitimately good.
I would bet money that he'll look better in the Vegas Summer League. I think he looked like he was making really bad reads, and he had a lot of turnovers. I think he had 8 turnovers in the last game against the Warriors. which that's not good. But I think he just needs to just chill a little bit, and he was pressing and he was super lackadaisical at the same time. But I mean, I think we still need to see this more in the Vegas Summer League. But like Nelson said, he didn't look worse. He just looked like he wasn't like trying as hard, and he wasn't trying as hard, but he was pressing at the same time. It was something like it was that in between that he was doing. But I'd be willing, especially with better teammates, and we didn't get to see Malik Newman at all. I would be willing to say that once give him some minutes, and we have Bonga, and hopefully maybe even Joel Berry is there as well. I'd be willing to say that Caruso will have some better teammates compared to the garbage he was playing with sometimes in the 2 games. No offense, or I guess all of the offense to Jonathan Williams. I don't know, he wasn't good, but
there were several players that just were.
Holland wasn't that good. I think King was the only one that was semi good. Sometimes
I thought Holland had some moments.
And Xavier Raven Mays was maybe the best one of the non guys we knew. But anyway, let's move on to the rookies. The guy that we're probably talk the most about. These 3.
I didn't get to say anything about Caruso. Real quick.
Well, I mean, you didn't watch the games.
Well, just real quick.
Yeah.
There is a question about like what is going to happen with Caruso, because now that the roster has 14 guys on it, is he going to be kept as a 2-way?
Yeah, I think he is.
And if he is kept as a 2-way, then our boy at Hoop and Detail may be out on Malik Pope.
Well,
which we did not get to see much of him in Sacramento.
No.
So like, I mean, honestly, like I never quite understood why they immediately gave Malik Newman a 2-way. I think they really should have made him earn that.
Again, he was the guy that they were really, really considering at 47. It was either him or Svi.
I get that. But yeah, because maybe they depress Malik Newman or Malik Pope's play or whatever enough to where like they can just get him on the SBL. But like he's a guy who I think legitimately could be decent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I've been pining for Caruso to have a full roster slot. So like,
yeah,
I don't honestly know who would take over, but like, Svi isn't technically signed, even though like I included him with the 14. But if he's not, then I would honestly like they need his shooting. So
0% chance they don't sign him, in my opinion.
Yeah, again, I'm like 95% sure he's going to be on the roster. But
yeah, and to transition from there, let's talk about 47th pick from Kansas, wing Svi Mikhailuk. Clayton, let's start with you. From the 3 games, talking about Svi, what did you see from him? What were you impressed about?
I didn't get to see a ton of him during the game, but I did get to see plenty of highlights.
Yes.
And the dude can stop on a dime, and he can shoot from anywhere on the court. There was one where I think he was about 5 or 6 feet back.
Oh yeah.
And he's able to come off of screens, and he can curl, and he can just do all this stuff. There are a couple things like Laker Film Room said where he sometimes tries to go after that initial screen too much instead of doing a back cut going across the court, and trying to come off a screen that way. I think that would be something that comes. But everyone remembers how high I was on Herter. And honestly, you could think of Svi as like a guy that's just about 2 years older with 3 inch shorter wingspan, but can shoot from anywhere, can do a lot of the ball handling that he can do. If you had Svi from Europe, you've got a first-round draft pick.
Oh yeah.
If you have Svi from Kansas, that's why he's 47 to undrafted free agent. And he's looking like Euro Svi,
which is awesome.
Which is just incredible because like really because like the Lakers don't really rely on that shut down defender.
No,
They've got a couple good defenders, but like
they're very team oriented.
It's part of why like I wasn't so in on DeAnthony Melton as you guys were, which I'm still in shock that dude was not a first round draft pick.
Yeah,
like I wasn't as high on him as you guys, but like I mean I said that I had top 20. I had top 20. Like yeah. I have no idea how he fell to. What was it, 42 or something like that?
46. It was right before.
Just my word, like I still don't understand that one. But
he must say you're Clayton.
Yeah, just I don't know. But like if you watch, he had plenty of good off-ball reads, and he's a good team defender with stuff like that. Yeah, he's going to struggle at times with on defense just because of the lack of length, but he does have still good size. He
moves his feet really well.
Yeah, he moves his feet well. He's got a bit of explosion.
Yeah, he tagged closeouts pretty well.
Yeah, he got to the basket quite a bit. Like,
yeah, he did.
I mean, it's just summer league, yes, and that's probably not something that he's going to use a ton of. But he's just showing things.
I'm just ready for him to catch a body like one time in the regular season.
Yeah, because like I think honestly, it wouldn't surprise me because he had like if anyone had been able to dunk. It's easier to dunk with one hand than two.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just requires you to get that much higher. And he got like it was a fast break, two-handed dunk, and yeah, it was fast break and blah blah blah. But like he got up faster than I expected and higher than I expected. So especially with his T-Rex arms. So like I fully expect him to be on the roster. Like I said, 95%. You never know, but yeah, he's a very interesting guy, and honestly, if he gets some minutes with the South Bay Lakers and whatnot, I could see him getting some rotation minutes and him being the Kyle Korver for LeBron.
Yeah, I was sort of gonna save this until once we get further into once the season got closer, but I think before All-Star break he's gonna take Lance's minutes.
Honestly,
or at least eat into them.
Yeah, I was gonna say he probably takes Lance's minutes before the trade deadline.
Yeah. Nelson, same question to you. How do you feel about Svi? And so here you go. Here's your chance to show all your love to Svi.
Hey, look, man. When he was drafted, I was mad.
Because it wasn't Melton.
And I was mad because he fell to 4-6 to a contender.
Yep.
And throw him against the Warriors, and he's going to be good. The thing with Svi is I was like, oh yeah, look, he's a shooter.
Yeah.
No.
He's more.
I was wrong. He's
more. Yeah.
He is more.
He is more. He can defend well off switches. He does have relatively quick hands. And he does struggle on some closeouts just due to the length.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of what I talked about when we drafted him in the draft podcast before Summer League. And that ended up being true, but that's not all that important in the grand scheme of things because he can work well off switches. He does move his feet well, and he does use his hands well, so that immediately makes him not a negative on defense.
And there are a lot of times where the Lakers placed him on a 3.
Yeah.
And, I don't think he guards 3s that much. I think if you're sticking him on a 2, if he's closing out on 2s, then it'll cancel itself out.
Yeah, it shall. But on offense, oh my God, I did not know. Like I saw some tape a little bit, and man,
burner.
he can attack closeouts, man. He can operate a few third or secondary actions. And that's really promising for a guy who was pegged as simply a shooter. No, he's capable of much more. And that 47, that's a gem.
Yes.
This guy that we're going to talk about is probably not a gem yet in my eyes, but this guy, just with all that he's flashed so far, although it is just summer league, it's just the value's there, man. This is going to translate. Shooting doesn't translate for the higher end prospects that are tasked to do so much, just because they're put into situations where that carries such a high usage early on. But Svi is in a situation where he's going to probably have pretty low usage, him being a rookie and him being on a team with LeBron, Ingram and Lonzo, and him not being a top prospect with no pressure. So that's going to be immediately promising for a guy like this to really, as apart from developing, get some really flirt around with that while also being a very consistent player, getting rotation minutes for Lakers. I'm not gonna tease too much about a little piece that I'm writing, but important piece going forward for the Lakers, and his shooting value is just so great. And at 47, I'm just the scouting department did it again with him.
And to go back to your point about you don't see, or you see him as a gem, and you don't see the guy we're talking about next, Mo Wagner, yet as a gem. I think mostly that is because the draft position. I think if Wagner was a second round pick, I think you'd be seeing him a little bit more as a gem.
Definitely.
Yes.
It's just that with the wings available, first round value is pretty high value, and
of course, I get why you said that. But to again transition into Mo Wagner, I think that he actually looked better than I was expecting in the 3 games. No, he does not look like a lotto pick or something like that. But I think he looks like a first round guy. I think he's shown the potential of a first round guy. I liked the shooting that he showed. His feet looked better than I was expecting on defense. He showed a couple of nice recovery blocks. He was burnt a few times by some bigs. Bam Adebayo kind of ate his lunch a little bit. But again, that is Bam Adebayo, who's a freak athlete, and a second-year guy as well. He did get beat up down there again. Got some guys who were bigger than him were able to get through him pretty easily. He's also dead. I forgot about that. He got killed by Marvin Bagley. So
R.I.P. man.
May Mo Wagner rest in peace.
That was nasty, man.
Yeah, Marvin's gonna do that a few times this year. So I liked what I saw from him in the summer league. I think a lot of Lakers Twitter liked what they saw from him. I think the shooting looked good. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but the stroke looked good. It looked repeatable. It looked consistent. He showed some nice passing. I think my favorite play of the 3 games was the steal on who was the big? Do you remember what's Clayton? The steal in the Warriors game?
Derrickson.
Derrickson.
It's just kind of whatever, but
the steal on him, and then he was able to take it in transition and do a nice fling one-handed pass over to Svi, who was cutting down the middle. That was probably the most memorable play for me of the 3. Again, the shot looked repeatable. It looked clean. And the defense was overall positive for me compared to what I was expecting. So Clayton, let's start with you. From the threads that you've seen in the game that you were able to watch, what did you take from the 3 games from Wagner?
Not a ton. The shot, I never really had an issue, especially with the form.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to have NBA 3-point range, even though he didn't shoot particularly well. From what I saw, and like I said, I didn't get to see as much. I do have them all recorded, so I'll get back to it. Wait, where'd this commercial? Sorry. It doesn't seem like he's short on a lot of them. So you'd have to correct me if I was wrong on that. But he seems strong enough. It's the defense. that's just going to be a major concern for me. The offense, like like I said, the shots repeatable, looks fine. I'm not in on this thing that he has handles. He has
Hey, it works.
That I don't need any.
It works.
It's a one move, and
it
it's
works
behind the back, and it's herky jerky,
and it's effective.
It's worked on bad defenders,
and it's predictable.
And it's predictable when he plays against good defenders. That's just going to be taken from him.
We'll see.
He does.
Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. I mean, I can already imagine Draymond ripping that from him. Like,
okay, but how many times is Draymond really going to guard him?
I don't know, because he's not probably going to play very much.
Also, anyone with like five decimal points of defensive instincts is probably ripping that too.
Yeah. It's this quote, like, his handles aren't bad. They're not this amazing thing that people think it is, apparently. Like when he does get it, when someone does close out on him, like 90% of the time he goes to his right.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's gonna have to be able to go to his left as well.
As in become less of a predictable player.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, like the offensive side really wasn't my biggest concern with him. Like, I mean, if you are wanting him to play down to the post or something, then yeah, no, that's a concern because he's just not strong enough.
He didn't do it that much in the 3 games.
No,
from what I can remember.
No, I mean, he's essentially going to be kind of in that mold of Kuz where he's just.
Yeah, they're going to use him. They're going to use him a bunch of different ways when he does play. They'll use him a bunch of different ways of shooting the ball ways. They'll pop. Yeah. They'll pick and pop a lot with him. If he is rolling, I would expect it to be something like a pass on the short roll type thing. That I do want to see that a little more from him. I have yet to really see any of that in the 3 games. Some pick and roll, passing off the short roll, have guys cutting from the weak side, and see if he can sort of be a playmaker like that. They've yet to really tap into that playmaking. That I've really only seen the transition stuff, which I was intrigued with. But he was one of the best from Synergy, who's one of the best transition guys in college basketball,
Yeah. The main issue is the defense. Like he's got pretty good hands, so like that helps him out with some of the steals that he had. But I wasn't particularly impressed with his feet in a lot of times. I know like they appear to be better than they were this past year at Michigan. So, like, you hope that he's what he was his, sophomore year or whatever while he was there. But, like, the dude needs to hit the weight room hard in the next few years because, like, he's just going to be bullied. Like, Bam Adebayo, I don't think has very good post moves, and he's
just giant and athletic.
Yeah, he fooled Mo. Like, it was just like, oh my word. Now Mo ended up having a great recovery and ended up blocking the shot. But
credit to Svi. Svi was
Svi had a good help defend on that, so it did slow down Bam as well. But like I worry a lot about the defense. Like I was telling I can't remember what his at is. He changes it from time to time. Guy on like NBA draft Twitter or NBA Twitter, whatever you want to.
Was it at Being Thrifty?
Yeah, I think it was him. He's talking about like because he's not a rim protector and blah blah blah, and like that's just not really a huge concern for the Lakers.
Nah.
Lakers defensive scheme because their defense is more about preventing people from getting there.
Yeah.
And like so his feet are going to be incredibly important for him. So he's got to get quicker. Which with NBA conditioning and eating and everything, I think it should get there. I don't think he'll ever be a great defender.
No.
You hope that he's just average, and then that his offensive production puts him above and beyond.
Yeah.
But I'm like he showed some hints about some things, but like some of the moves were like on Derrickson on Golden State, which is I'm just like that's not an NBA player.
I've actually seen a couple of guys who actually think he can be, but that's besides the point.
I would be shocked. There was a player or two on like Bagley that he had, and but my only thing with Bagley is that Bagley has no awareness at all.
Yeah,
but you know, like we'll see. I am the low man on the Mo totem pole, but I am hopeful that he outperforms what I'm expecting. I was never a fan at Michigan. I know the synergy numbers are great, but I think there's some real reason for legit concern. And I don't, like I said on the Under the Bus Twitter, what I said is you don't look for production during Summer League because that doesn't matter.
No.
You're looking.
It's like obvious, like what Kuzma and Lonzo did, you know?
Yeah. What you're looking for is skills. So like what Furkan Korkmaz did today was, you know, scoring 40 points. Whoop-de-doo.
Wow.
That doesn't matter. But he showed that he's better able to shoot the ball this year.
Yeah.
You know, he's better able to, you know, he's shown some strength. He's shown a little bit more skills. Nelson could put more into that, but you know, he's just able to do more. You know, he's not just a guy that just has to have an open shot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have to have those skills. Like Dennis Smith Jr., which kind of surprised me that he's actually there in Las Vegas, but he showed some abilities with a pull-up.
Yeah.
And him being able to have a legit pull-up jumper is the difference between him being a pretty good starter to being a potential, you know, all-star or more.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously there's other things, but like his ability to self-create is huge for them, or you know, for him. So like you're that's what I'm looking for, and I didn't get to see it all of it, so I can't you know, say this, that, or the other. I can only comment on a couple different things, and you know, there was goods and there was bads, and you know, it was kind of what I expected, you know. But one thing I do have to say is if I have to hear from an announcer about Mo's fire and like
no, that was
attitudes towards like the refs, oh my word, then shoot me, because yes, those Kings announcers were idiots. You clearly didn't watch Michigan last year, because that's how he's been since he got there.
Yeah,
like
he's just like that all the time.
He's like Wagner's a freaking psychopath.
He is, man.
Like you don't run down the court with your tongue almost touching your chin like that without being a psychopath. Okay, like
I love it. Yeah. He got into it a couple times with Marvin Bagley and Harry Giles.
Oh yeah, and he's not going to back down. Like that's.
Oh no, he might get his ass beat.
Oh
but he's not going to back down.
Yeah, no, dude's like he would get his butt whooped, but like. You know, he's not going to back down, which is another thing that the Lakers probably love. He's not going to back down. No, exactly. I don't really see any of these guys backing down from like the challenge. So,
yeah, I mean, I think that's why the Lakers got a lot of these guys. But Nelson, passing over to you. If you have anything else you want to add to all that about Wagner.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna say I'm not here for no whoop-de-doo about Furkan Korkmaz.
He looked, from everything I saw in the highlights, because I didn't get to see the game yet. He looked great, but you know what I'm saying is just like yeah, the production is awesome, but like it doesn't matter in relation to like when it comes to an NBA game, you're looking for those skills.
That is very true, Clayton. But you couldn't have let it like pass a bit, but no, you had to say it the day of, and that's
it
why
was on the TV when like Furkan Korkmaz's name came across the bottom of the screen, and so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna use Korkmaz as my example.
That's just fuck you. It's just that it was magical to see it, and from what I saw, I just saw a much more developed player over the past 2 years, really honing in those skills. And on defense, he did get taken advantage of just because he's just not that strong. Like his frame has filled out more, but it's just not to the point where he's gonna be able to stop Semi Ojeleye. And I'm sorry, like that's not what you're supposed to expect from him.
Well,
and that's
Semi Ojeleye is built like a linebacker.
Oh yeah, Ojeleye is a tank. He's got bigger. He's like there might be only one person in the entire NBA with bigger biceps than me, and it's Semi Ojeleye. Like the dude literally can't like straighten his arms out completely because his biceps are just like, no, I'm not gonna let you do that. Or like he can't raise his arms up above his head completely because his arms and shoulders are so well developed. It's just stupid. Like not in a bad way. It's just, I mean, he's a physical specimen, but yeah, no. It's
that dude slowed down Giannis. Like what makes the Furkan thing even more insane,
Yeah, no. I mean, he was cooking up Semi. Like he just gave him that 1-2 step back, and Semi couldn't do anything about it. 2 times 3.
Yeah.
Couldn't do anything about it. It wasn't until he finally started like doing the pump fake and moved to the side that he missed a few of those. But no, going back to Mo Wagner, Mo Wagner more problems. That's already an iconic line that as soon as he was drafted, I was like, oh my god,
very iconic.
Yeah,
coined by Nelson, very iconic.
Very iconic. It's gonna be overused, but very.
Please
iconic.
clap. It's bigly.
What I'm here to say is that I overreacted obviously on draft night because I really wanted DeAnthony Melton. Mm-hmm. But that there has been an overreaction towards the high upside of a guy who, I'm sorry, it's summer league. I gotta say that, and I also gotta say that these aren't top-notch defenders, and he has still shown some blemishes against not top-notch starters, and so I worry about how effective he's gonna be in the NBA. I wasn't worried about shooting, like Clayton said. I wasn't worried about anything on the offensive end, but on the defensive end, he has shown me a bit more mobility than I gave him credit for in college. A tad bit more. Maybe that's just because I'm looking at it from the lens of finally he's a Laker. Maybe but he did look to be moving a bit more smooth there. The handle, it's not good. It's not even good for in terms of a big man really. It's fine. You can see that move works. I wonder what you say that when he tries that 100 times in the NBA and only scores on 2 of those. Like, hey man, it worked 2 out of 100 times. I mean, honestly, like in the NBA, it's just not going to be effective. But you just can't say that when the level of competition is just not as high as the NBA is going to be. You just can't. And that move only falls to really non-elite defenders, And that's his move. But with scouting, like even let's just say you're right, not even the best of defenders can stop it. Not even good defenders can stop it. Scouting is going to be able to be like, hey man, he does this move all the time, and we can't seem to stop it. So how do we stop it? And we train people to just stop move on move. And as soon as you neutralize this great big move, that this is all.
I'm here for that move becoming like the most dominant move in the NBA.
Yeah, and apparently like we need to shove like Brad Stevens and Pop and just and bring back Tex Summers and just try to figure out some.
Have all 3 of them to meet and try to figure out how to stop Tex.
Tex Summers,
Tex Winters.
Oh,
Tex Winters.
Hey, man.
You had it right that his last name is the season. It's the complete opposite season.
Hey man, I'm in Las Vegas. The Four Seasons is like right next to me, so I just chose one of those.
Tex Summers.
Sorry.
Hey, man. I love you, Nelson. That was amazing.
Go ahead, Nelson.
Tech Summers is a person. I'm sure it is.
Probably.
I'm on the computer. I'm gonna find him. Now.
I hope he's a basketball player or a basketball guy.
No, it just comes up Texas this summer.
That's hilarious. So going back to this, his handle's it's just not anything spectacular, and he's not a gem yet. I need to see it in the then. He has shown more promise than I gave him credit for. He has shown a bit more of a diverse skill set than I even gave him credit for. But there are some aspects that we as Laker fans are overreacting a bit to. Just saying.
Yeah.
But
there is the huge overreaction that he was a garbage pick. Then there is a huge overreaction that he's a top 10 player. We'll meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, and I think it's not an overreaction to say that Frank Korkmaz is going to be the rookie of the year next year. So,
I mean, he was with Philly last year, so
yeah, he played.
I mean,
unless right?
unless he pulls a Ben Simmons and gets to be rookie of the year,
I'll look up if he played last year.
No, I know he played last year.
Oh, he did.
All
right. Well,
I mean,
sorry,
that's sad. But he'll still be the most improved player.
The most improved player.
Yeah, he played only 14 games last year, but he played.
He played, so he can't Ben Simmons it, unfortunately.
No.
Anyway, let's end this before we start talking more about Tech Summers and. All I can say that it's been a very, very hot today, and
it feels definitely like we're in summer, so that's probably why. And
this is definitely the Tech Summers right now. So let's just end that there. The Lakers play tomorrow against the Sixers. Do you guys know when? Do you know when it is, Nelson? Since you'll be there.
Huh?
What time the game's at?
Oh, it's at 8:30.
8:30. So I'm guessing that game will be on ESPN. So if you guys want to watch that, the Lakers are guaranteed at least 5 games. In the summer league, I think they played 7 last year, max 7 or 8 max. So we'll get at least 5 more games of these guys. Hopefully tomorrow we get to see Malik Newman actually play a game as well as obviously Isaac Bonga. And hopefully
Joel Berry and also
Joel Berry, more Malik Pope.
Yeah, like Malik Pope is in several different lineups that I want to see.
Right. So catch that tomorrow. We'll be back to recap those games, and we'll be back if any other news breaks regarding Brook Lopez, any other new Lakers signings. Nelson, go ahead and preview some stuff that you have coming up on the site.
So a lot of LeBron articles, because LeBron is a Laker, and I feel like people should know that.
Hey guys, hey guys, LeBron's a Laker.
Indeed, he is, and I think it's time to really start to break down what he brings to the table. So I want to have various LeBron-centric things as far as like covering his playmaking and scoring, his tracking his improved shooting over time, some of the cutting, which is also spicy.
Mm-hmm.
And apart from that, I want to write just a general piece of talking about why LeBron's not going to meet expectations set by the general media this year, but it won't matter in the long run.
Right. Clayton, do you have anything coming up?
Also, I'm going to write a freaking Korkmaz piece, and you guys can't stop me.
We can. And we will.
No.
Clayton, preview anything you have coming up or anything coming up on the site?
Clay doesn't write anymore, so it doesn't matter.
I do. I wrote a piece earlier in the week.
First 5 years.
First of 5 years. He wrote the Mario Hazonia piece, okay?
I did. And RIP to that dream. He is now in New York. But anyways, I really want to start doing like roundtables and mailbags. So if you are listening to this podcast all the way to the end, please send us questions
of this 2-hour podcast.
Overly long podcast. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Again, thank you for joining us. Remember to follow the podcast and the blog at Under the Bus Pod on Twitter. You can follow me, I'm Merch Christian on Twitter. You can follow Clayton at Lakers1949, and you can follow Nelson at IDK_Espinoza.
Please follow me.
Yeah, he has like 50 followers. So
no, I have 13.
Okay, they have 13 followers. I overshot that one. So
by a lot.
Poor guy.
I wish I had 50.
Shouldn't have deleted your old one.
I know. I just
yeah, Nelson, you reacted and you deleted your old one. It is what it is. Anyway, thanks for joining us again. Remember to find a podcast on iTunes, find it on SoundCloud, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Remember to rate and review on iTunes, and that would be it. See you guys later. Peace.
The Lakers are about to be